evening. I am Deb Smith-Molesky. I am alum. I'm also the chair of the Misericordia's Board of Trustees. And I am honored to welcome you to All That Glitters is Gold. So our 2023 Trustee Associates Gala is this evening. And what a festive evening we have for all of you. Thank you for joining us as we gather to express our appreciation to our Trustee Associates, all of you, for your significant contributions to the university. We are in our 99th year, and Misericordia is thrilled to celebrate the benevolence that allows the university to provide a mercy-inspired education in the spirit of our founders, the Sisters of Mercy. Where are my sisters? Where are we? Please. We are here because of you. Thank you so much. And we look ahead to next year, which is our centennial year. We reflect on the courage and the determination that opened our doors in 1924. We recognize and salute our many generous benefactors who ensure that Misericordia continues to welcome students, many of whom never imagined a college education would be in their future. To all of our guests this evening, please accept our sincere gratitude for helping keep Misericordia in the forefront of higher education. We are a recognized leader in developing students who go forth and live lives of consequence. As you can see by the listings in our program, there are an amazing number of people who have made significant contributions to Misericordia and its students over the past 2 years. We are thrilled to gather this evening to say a resounding thank you all. In a few moments, we will recognize two of Misericordia's most ardent supporters, each of whom is distinguished in their medical careers and in their dedication to our university and the Back Mountain community. We are happy to honor Dr. Joan Greulick and Dr. Thomas Byron with our Trustee Associates Award. Thank you. We are also excited to have the sweet sounds of Marco Marcinko Band to serenade us tonight. As you might have heard, Marco is our new Director of Music Performance for bringing music back to Misericordia and has been charged with bringing the glory of music performance back to our campus. An accomplished jazz musician, composer, arranger, and educator, we are thrilled to have Marco and his band perform with us tonight. So please join us on the dance floor at some point tonight. In celebration of extraordinary benevolence and love for Misericordia, we salute you all and hope you enjoy our All That Glitters is Gold this evening. I now invite Monsignor Jack Bendick, our beloved Monsignor, to offer our invocation.
Well, good evening, everyone. First, I owe you a disclaimer, because often people ask me this when they're going to a function, which is a spectacular one, and they don't want any rain. So they say, hey, Father, make sure there's no rain tonight. And I say, I'm in sales, not management. I don't claim for the fact there's no rain out there right now. And Billy Jones, who's here, was going to help me down the steps, but I figured out I should come around this way so I don't fall. Wanted to know if I was wearing a tux. Maybe it was Billy or David Payne, one of those guys, wanted to know if I was wearing a tux tonight. So I called the ice hockey team and tried to get tuxes. I don't know. So what I have is what I have. So let us pray. Blessed are you, Lord, God of all creation. For through your goodness you have created us in your own image and likeness, and have given us the challenging responsibility to be respectful of each other, and to nurture a universe teeming with life and possibilities. Even though we live in a world of conflict instead of peace, there are some among us who go out of their way to be faithful to your challenge. It is for this reason that we honor Dr. Joan Greulick and Dr. Thomas Byron. For over 4 decades, they have served our community as medical professionals. They have also been stewards of their land and providing its use to Misericordia University to ensure that our young athletes develop a sound mind and a healthy body. In the process, they have created a sanctuary for the vulnerable creatures who find shelter in the thicket or the wooded land. We also thank them for the generosity of providing scholarship aid for needy students. And we ask your continued blessing upon them and their pride and joy, their children, Caroline, Elizabeth, and Thomas, and their 6 grandchildren. May your blessings be upon this gala celebration and the banquet we will enjoy in their honor. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
I am famous for going off script, and I think that the staff probably takes bets on how long it takes me to go off script, and I already did it before I even started. So whoever had time 0, you won the pool this time around. So. But it's really great to be here with you tonight. All that glitters is truly golden. That's a line from Stairway to Heaven, you may know. I don't know if we can get Marco to play that later. He was tinkling the ivories over very nicely, very calmly over in the reception where you all were having a drink beforehand. And I walked up and I said, "You don't need Van Halen?" And wouldn't you know, the guy actually worked in a little bit of the song Jump into what he was playing. I mean, it was crazy. So I know you'll enjoy Marco tonight. Marco is, as Deb said, Marco's our new Director of Music Performance, and he's just been an incredible presence on our campus already and really driving forward that spirit of appreciating music, performing music. He's changing the culture on our campus, and so I hope you have a chance to meet him, talk to him. You certainly get to listen to him, but I hope you get a chance to meet him and talk with him tonight. He really adds to the festive feel that we have tonight. We've already started with some wonderful food, and we're just getting started. So I hope to see you out here on the dance floor as things get going later on. As the 15th president of Misericordia, I am really honored to be here with you, with this distinguished group of folks who have supported Misericordia. You are our friends, you are our family, and it's so exciting to have time to be with you to say thank you for what you've given to this wonderful place. I've been at Misericordia just a little over 2 years now, and it has just been a tremendous experience for me. It is really a special place, and it does something very special for students. And sometimes people ask me exactly what that is, and I have a couple of phrases I've come up with. And I said one of them is that we make students better so they can make the world better. And that's really what the place is about. And so by the contributions you are making, you are helping that to happen. And that is something very special, and it's very important in the world that we're in right now, that that's the spirit of what we're doing. That spirit comes from the Sisters of Mercy who founded Misericordia, and to this day are still an incredibly important part of our community and driving us forward and guiding us with a mission that really matters and makes students come to have a life of consequence when they leave us. So,
thank you.
that was all a script. There, Mary Ann's like, I wrote some really good stuff for you. Are you listening to it? But no, but you know, it's easy to do that when you can speak from the heart. And this place really allows me to do that. And it's just absolutely wonderful to be at Misericordia and to be with you in that spirit of education and development of our students. It's our 99th year. And during this year, I would say we have demonstrated that Misericordia is really on the move. There's a lot of great things happening at the university. We have a number of new academic programs that have started up this past year. Data science, business economics, supply chain. We have some new programs in education. And I'm just really happy to see these new things develop. We are always trying to attend to what's going on in the market and adjusting our programs and adding things that are going to allow students to be successful when they leave us. We have new facilities coming online. You may know that we are occupying a portion of the Mercy Center now for our occupational therapy and physical therapy programs. They're almost done. We went on a tour after the board meeting yesterday, and those will be open for business in January, and we're very excited about that. We have a new athletic dome that's going to be coming out of the ground, and we're actually going to inflate that in November. That'll be a very exciting moment for us. You know that we have an incredible athletic program at Misericordia, and it's one that also reflects that spirit. Our coaches are not just about winning games. They're about developing these young people into leaders and into champions in life. One time I was meeting with our football coach, and he said to me, "My job's not being a football coach. My job is developing these young men." And I love that kind of spirit. That's what our athletic program is about. This dome is going to be a game changer. We already have 26 sports on our campus, and we are going to add 4 more next fall. Wrestling for men, wrestling for women. You may not know it. It is the fastest growing collegiate sport for women. A sport called stunt, which is the acrobatic part of the competitive cheerleading world. And ice hockey. We'll be playing ice hockey next fall as well. Those are very exciting developments for us. And it all comes from the guidance of our wonderful, absolutely wonderful athletic director, Chuck Atkins, is here with us tonight. Chuck's right back there. Wait, Chuck. And he's the reason that the athletic programs work so well and have the right kind of spirit at Misericordia. We've also, these are all things that you have helped us through your own support. And we've also been able to do wonderful things that absolutely directly reflect the mission of Misericordia. We send students out on service trips across the country and to Jamaica, and they provide service there and care to some of the world's most needy populations. And it's our donors that make so many of these things happen on our campus. So thank you for helping to lead us into our 2nd century. Next year is the 100th anniversary of the founding of Misericordia. 1924 is when College Misericordia started, and we have so many great things that are going to be happening during our centennial year next year. We hope that you'll join us and be a part of celebrating this incredible history and launching us into our next 100 years. That'll all be starting up in September of next year, and we're very excited for the many things that are going to happen. With that, I'd like to introduce the chair of the University Advancement Committee of our Board of Trustees, someone who is committed to helping Misericordia be the best that it can be. He's a business leader who knows the Wyoming Valley community very well and is helping us make the connections we need to charge full steam ahead and into our 2nd century. Roger's also a personal friend of mine, and I got to tell you, we have done some karaoke together. And so perhaps maybe later, Roger might get us into some All That Glitters Is Gold. You never know. So, but I'm very happy to introduce Roger Howell of Howell Benefit Services, who has the envied role of introducing our honored guest tonight. Roger.
Let it be known that Dan will be doing his version of White Wedding later. I've heard it many times. It's not bad, actually. Thank you. Good evening. I'm trying to stay on script because I have some personal remarks before we talk about the university, about the Byron family. These are my own words. They weren't written for me. Let me begin with Tom. When our middle daughter, Julie, who could be described as the highest maintenance of our 3, Joan knows that, convinced her 7-year-old younger sister, Becky, to jump on a stone wall by her home, lift up the top stones to look for ants. One very large stone slipped off and fell on Julie's foot, breaking her pinky toe. I know that probably isn't considered a major injury. However, after several tugs in the ER and an x-ray at Nesbitt Hospital, Tom tasked his surgical skills to repair it in the operating room a day or 2 later. His calm demeanor and communication style put one paranoid 2nd grader's fears at ease, and all is well. Then we move on to high school. Our youngest, Rebecca, Caroline's friend, suffered a horrific soccer injury in her junior year at Wyoming Seminary on Lake Lehman's AstroTurf, dislocating and breaking her left arm. It wasn't a fun day, to say the least. I saw it all. After the ER doc, after multiple attempts, was unable to get the arm back in place, I told him to stop, and I called Tom. I don't know if you remember this, Tom. I got you somehow. And if I recall, I think you were trimming your apple trees behind your house, and asked if you would come to General Hospital and help us out, which you did. The result being you took her up to the OR, had her sedated, and pulled her arm back in the original position. Thank God he's a tall, strong man, because it was a really bad injury. She had subsequent care after that, and she actually got her inspiration from getting care due to that injury. And she's got a master's degree in occupational therapy, and she's married to an occupational therapist. Now on to Joan. Joan is a one of a kind. One never has to guess where she stands on any issue. I've heard a few speeches in my day. She speaks her mind. I must tell you, in my family's experience, she's usually, if not always, right about everything. She dedicated her entire medical career treating young children and infants in a professional and compassionate manner, while still being a real, and I mean real, hands-on mom. Just a few more words about the family, especially the children, Tom, Liz, and my friend Caroline. The Byron kids were raised to be hard workers, good students, accomplished athletes, while remaining humble. A testament to superb parenting. Caroline spent many a day in the Howell minivan, traveling to soccer matches and tournaments with Becky and me as I stumbled through years of amateur coaching. Of course, all the Byron children excelled in fields, on the soccer fields, and in the pool at the highest levels. If it wasn't for the Byrons, I don't believe the first soccer travel league club in our area, Northeast Attack, would have ever grown to receive the recognized status it ultimately achieved. Good people can't help themselves from doing good things. So enough said. I'm going to switch gears now and get to the real reason we are here tonight, to recognize and honor Tom and Joan. Both families have a history with the Sisters of Mercy. So from the time Dr. Joan and Dr. Tom married and moved to this area in 1981, they have carried a fondness for the sisters in the region and for what was their small yet growing college. Shortly after they settled in the back mountain, Dr. Tom, an orthopedic surgeon affiliated with both Wilkes-Barre General and Wilkes-Barre Mercy hospitals, began to offer medical care to the Sisters of Mercy who were housed at Mercy Center. A competitive swimmer, Dr. Joan began using the pool when it opened at Anderson Center and connected to the swim team, providing funding for travel and medical services. The friendship developed over the years. Tom and Joan have supported a wide variety of initiatives, including sharing Joan's love and appreciation for quilting by hosting exhibits at the art gallery and donating a Civil War era quilt to the gallery. They have also supported a scholarship named for a student who died following a plane crash. Yet, is the generosity in which they share the land surrounding their home on 42nd Street in Dallas that likely has had the greatest impact for more than 30 years. They have allowed Misericordia and numerous community athletic groups to practice and compete in soccer and cross country on their property. We had many practices on their field over the years, and has developed into one of the premier collegiate cross-country venues in the country, if not the entire MAC conference. There are 4 special friends of Drs. Greulick and Byron who wholeheartedly agree on their selection as the Trustee Associates Award recipients. They include one Misericordia student athlete who not only appreciates her support of athletics, but was a pediatric patient of Dr. Greulick's from the time she was born.
Well, I met Dr. Byron and Dr. Greulick when I first came here too, because I came here in the early 80s. And the place I met them, believe it or not, was at the chapel, because they came to Mass here on campus, which was a real blessing for me to see them present in the chapel. But our students who were coming in at the beginning of the school year, which I came here at the beginning of the school year, some of them were so homesick. When they walked into that chapel for Mass, they saw other families there, other people there. That set them at ease. Now, I'm sure that the 2 docs weren't even aware of that somehow they were making that impact on our new students. And that's how I first got to meet them.
I was the director of nursing at Mercy Center, and they were the doctors. Dr. Tom was an orthopedic surgeon, and our sisters had to receive care. And one of the nice things was that Dr. Byron would actually come to Mercy Center and see the sisters. Anytime I ever talked to them, they always spoke so highly of College Misericordia. They had such a love for our college and dedication, and they stuck with it all over those years.
Somehow they got caught up in the mystique of Misericordia. It seems to me that way. Maybe because they came to church and saw our students and saw the quality of the students we have. And so when they knew our students were going to be cross-country runners, they knew our students were going to be playing soccer, they made their fields available to them with no expectation whatsoever of a return on their investment, but the satisfaction they had because they did this for us.
Everybody enjoys running on, and everybody always has something nice to say about like their experience on it, and they're like, this is a cross-country course, and this is so beautiful out here, and this is so nice. And you know, the spectators can go from path to path. In one field you can see your daughter or son run, or your cousin or your sister run, you know, 4 different times. That cross-country course is a cross-country course. That's a hard, difficult, very challenging mentally and physically cross-country course that I was able to design with their approval. It provides the sport of cross-country a way to be developed furthermore in the area, because there's really not a course like that in the whole area. I'm biased, but I think I have the best cross-country course in Luzerne and Lackawanna County to provide the students of any level for cross-country.
Yeah, it's definitely special to me. But it's hard too. But it does have a lot of hills too. And it's also really cool for Dr. Greulick and Dr. Byron, because sometimes they were encouraging my mates and shimmy on. Thank you to Dr. Greulick and Dr. Byron for letting my teammates and I use their property as a part of the home courses for cross country.
Congratulations, Dr. Tom Byron and Dr. Joan Greulick, and many blessings to you both. You both have lived out the value of mercy, especially as caring physician. You have touched so many lives, and I valued your friendship and care over these past 40 years. God bless you both.
Tom, Joan, thank you so much for everything that you have allowed me to do as a cross-country and track coach at Misericordia with the usage of your land and developing 42nd Street. I will always be grateful, and as long as I coach, to be able to have that and the ability to have that for our student athletes. Congratulations on your honor and your recognition, well-deserved.
Doc Joan and Doc Tom, from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you, because those are the proper words to say. I mean, you've been a blessing to us beyond your imagination for what you've done for our students over the years. And congratulations, because we're also very proud that we as the university can make you the award winners for this Trustees experience. And so, from the bottom of my heart, as I said, it's a big one. As you can see, congratulations, and God bless you and your family.
Dr. Greulick, that's what I just wanted to congratulate you, and also thank you for cheering me on as I go through your property and for cheering me on. And also thank you for being a really good friend.
It is a great honor for me to recognize 2 of Misericordia's most ardent supporters, Dr. Joan Greulick and Dr. Tom Byron. Will you please join me? Your impact on Misericordia is immeasurable. It is with great honor that the Misericordia University Board of Trustees awards you the 2023 Trustee Associates Award, given annually to friends of the university who have demonstrated outstanding dedication, service, and the most generous support. Thank you for all that you have done.
But I'm a bit flummoxed. Started out today when I started putting on the rich clothes that I was never wear. We're deeply grateful to Misericordia and their supporters, the board of directors, their students, for this award. The very Bahala stress that I had only 4 meetings, but I don't think anybody's put red line there. Just good for me. So I'm going to talk about context and perspectives. And 2 things that are severely lost in today's conversation. And if you do put things in context and you gain the perspective, you do run the rest of the story. And you're going to find out by the end of this that this award is not about us. I want to put in context the beginning of this report. Next year is a centennial. I'm going to give you a few data points that are germane, which I don't think anyone will ever tell you. You just heard. America was very different. In 1900, there were 76 million of us. 5,000 women got a 4-acre college degree. 1910, there's 92 million of us. Only 10,000 women got a 4-acre college degree. 1920, there's 100 million or 2 for 106 million. It wasn't very much better. Something did happen in 1920 that helped it. They got the right to vote. And I would estimate in 1920, no more than 3% of the adult women in the United States ever saw the halls of 4-year college. So in 1924, they started in 1922 planning this university. But when they opened in 1924, Luzerne County was actually a very different place. There were a lot more people, and it was much more hard scrap. So you're going to find out that the Sisters of Mercy always have big ideas and big plans. And they have a way of recruiting people to help them implement those plans. And so the good sisters in 1924 opened the Heart of Mercy College on the Hill in Dallas. And what were they really doing? They were going to educate the daughters, the hard scrap of working class. And they did. And they started the little edge they could. And look what it became. And our connection long precedes our attachment to Misericordia and our 40 years here. Our families, I think Greulick and Byron families, have been attached for more than 100. My mother was born in a hospital more than 100 years ago. Son of a gun. Maternity hospital run by Sisters. If I have my numbers right, in the 1920s, Caroline Greulick, who became Joan's beloved great aunt, became a postulant, novice, and member of the Sisters of Mercy and Sister Agnia. And like all Miss Mercy, she lived her life in service. So my mother needed to go to grade school. Well, the parish school was literally right next to the house where she grew up. So there was no busing involved. So she finishes grade school, taught by the Sisters of Mercy. Then she needed to go to high school in the 30s. Oh, graduated from that, taught by the Sisters of Mercy. In the 40s and 50s, she had lost 5 of her children. She went back to that same maternity hospital. taught by the Sisters of Mercy. There's a theme here. In the 50s, Joan goes to grade school at her parish school, which was down the street and turned right. There it was. And then, the 9 grades, 8 of them were staffed by women in habits. She got great grade school education taught by in the 60s, I went back to that same high school my mother did. In fact, some of the nuns that taught her 35 years before were still there. And then you have to visualize this. That was the time that Sister be the past. We have to visualize this because it will never happen again. But Sister be the past. The funeral services were in the convent chapel, sung by hundreds of Sisters of Mercy in the panels. And they proceeded down to the cemetery, which was often convent grounds, singing, as only Sisters of Mercy could do. Sister Ruth will attend. And that visual is more than the sound of music, for sure. Then in the 70s, Joan entered medical school and in training and residencies. And we founded the hospitals, run by the Sisters of Mercy. In fact, they ran a lot of them. In fact, they ran more than any other institution in the country. They ran 140 hospitals. And Joan and I have passed through, I kind of lost count, between 20 hospitals and clinics, coast to coast, Canada, Cambodia. They were the only hospitals run by women. There were many, many more hospitals than now because of consolidation and closures. But they ran more hospitals than the Veterans Administration. And the fact that a woman ran a hospital was not only an anomaly and a rarity, they were the only ones. Never encountered a hospital at that time run by a woman other than the Sisters of Mercy Hospital. So when we came to the Valley, to Dallas, we were first from it. Think about it. They birthed us, they gave us grade school, they gave us high school, they gave us hospitals and clinics that we trained in. So we moved and we became neighbors. We're only a mile and a half away. If you go off the arch, you drive, you walk, you turn right, you go up a couple of hills, about 3/4 of a mile, and turn left 1/4 mile, and you're there. And so we became involved. And we became involved because of the Sisters of Mercy. We met many of them at Mercy Center, who at the time were at the end of their life. They were only trying. But you know what? They were great storytellers. They were still great teachers. They became mentors, confessors, and they all became friends. And then as we moved along, we started to learn about the faculty and students and administration. And it became apparent that this was one of the things we wanted to support, which we have. And we generally, all the things we support, we do under the radar. Most of it we do anonymously until today. And it's given us a great number of things and a great number of memories. I want to bring us up to date on two things, and I'll give my final closing remarks. My sister, who just passed this year, was very close to a diocesan charitable organization in upstate New York. And she loved the organization. She worked for them for 35 years. And she loved her office. Which was in a very old building. That building was the maternity hospital where she was born. So if you follow circles and you go left to right, you end up where you started. And let's bring it to right here and now in this place. This place, the Westmoreland Club, has been around for 150 years. It's been in this place 100 years, just like this recording. One of the earliest members, the earliest proponents of this was a man named James Krause. Go across the bridge into Kingston, you'll find a James Street and a Reynolds Street. Interesting. Well, in 1892, he decided to buy a farm in Dallas and build a house. He called the farm and the house Leatherton. We call it the Money Pit. And so once we had acquired that, we had to figure out what to do with it. And so we evolved through soccer fields, et cetera, and we made quite a cross-country course. And the athletics department, Chris Watson, did wonderful things. The farm that Mr. Reynolds owned, the orchard's gone, the cows are gone, but it still grows hay and it grows grass, and it makes, for us, what we think is one of the best cross-country venues to this day. Next week, it's going to hold MAC championships. And next year, it's going to hold NCAA Division III regional championships for 40 schools. We want to thank Misericordia Board, but we most of all want to thank who this is all for, the Sisters University, because it's helped life.
Good evening, Dr. Byron. That was outstanding. The toughest part about following Dr. Byron, not only what he says, is you got to bring the microphone down to where I belong. Good evening, everyone. I'm Chuck Atkins, the Director of Athletics, and our cross-country coach cleans up very nicely, I think. Chris Wattis did an outstanding job of representing athletics in the tribute video and sharing our profound respect and appreciation for Drs. Joan and Tom. It's nearly impossible to count the number of local athletes, Misericordia University student athletes, and college Misericordia student athletes, and competitors who have had the great and distinct pleasure of running on their property. And that has been happening for, as you've heard, over 30 years. We are so grateful to both of you. Joan and Tom have been tremendous advocates of a variety of our athletic teams over time. You're aware of the cross-country impact. We are thrilled to host the MAC championships next weekend, and we are even more thrilled to bring, as you heard, 40 schools a year from now at the Division III regionals. Yet their generosity has not stopped there. In the early 1990s, they afforded our men's soccer team the opportunity to train on their soccer fields. They bought into the fact that some young 26-year-old soccer coach, that's me, asked if we could come up and utilize the fields that they had so generously given to a local club program. Roger's daughters and my daughters played on that team. One of the club teams that they afforded us the opportunity. And then we only had one grass field at Misericordia, a couple of teams trying to use it. There was no irrigation. So we were so blessed and so thankful that Dr. Joan and Dr. Tom said, yes, you can come up and train every once in a while. And we really, really appreciate it. Didn't stop there. Anderson Center is built, a pool is put in, and as many of you may know, Dr. Joan is an avid and accomplished swimmer. So she came to the Anderson Center and churned up the water level a little bit. We got her going back and forth, and she could move. And I was like, holy smokes, this lady can swim. Bring in our men's and women's swim team, and thank goodness that she had an affinity for our program. Our young men and young women benefited and were able to compete in conference championships because of their kindness and their generosity. And we were able to get out in the region before we even belonged to a conference. So again, our growth in athletics is directly directly attributed to Dr. Joan and Dr. Tom. On behalf of our students, our athletic staff, we would like to present a token of our appreciation for your support of Misericordia and countless student athletes across the region. You truly embody the charisms of Misericordia and the Sisters University. If I could ask Drs. Joan and Dr. Tom to come forward, that would be tremendous. Thank you.
Hello. Hey. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tanya Easton, Vice President for University Advancement, and nights don't get any better than this. Congrats, Dr. Joan and Dr. Tom. In my second year in this role, I've gotten to know many of you, and I'm so appreciative of the love and support that you've shown for Misericordia. As you know, it's a special place built on the legacy of very special people and of our Sisters of Mercy. I'd like to take just a minute and go off script and thank some folks that have been so instrumental in planning tonight's event. And that would be Marianne Puhala and Wendy Ferrara of the UA team. Many of you know those folks, and they work very hard to exemplify the charism of hospitality, I think, for everyone. The other thing is the Westmoreland Club folks. Fabulous job. I want to thank the marketing and communications folks that are here tonight, Caitlin Hall, Amy Bachman, and Alicia Stavitsky's here, but they always come alongside and help us as well. So if you will, just offer your appreciation to all. As President Myers mentioned earlier, we're thrilled to be heading into our centennial year, and we have a full schedule of events planned beginning in September of 2024. It'll be a celebration of all that is Misericordia, 100 years of amazing students, faculty, and staff who have passed through our iconic arch and who've had the courage and tenacity to make Misericordia the educational leader that it is today. We have a most exciting year ahead. I hope you'll join us as you hear more about the celebration.